this episode of Horse Shelter Heroes.
I think something happened with him that traumatized him.
I have come back, so this time I'll be here hopefully a little longer than a couple months.
Today is a Tuesday here at Horse Plus. It's a buyout day. He's got evidence of deep suspensory limb desmitis.
You're so pretty. You are a baby.
We're out here to help kind of clean up some of these dogs that we got from the owner surrender.
You don't want to miss a single second of Horse Shelter Heroes.
Well, this morning, both the vets are not here, so I am trying to get the cat cages scrubbed and cleaned out for the day, and then I'm going to be trying to clean and prep for buyout tomorrow as much as possible so that if anyone has to come down here, it's clean, they have a fresh spot to be, and that we have all of our supplies needed for up top.
I've been working on cleaning stalls in the vet barn, getting things nice and tidy and smelling good again. So I got one clean, ready to put shavings in it and move a horse from the back side of the barn around to the front.
We have some adopters that are on their way, and they are very interested in Torito or Owen. Maybe both of them may go, or just the one, but hopefully they'll find their forever home.
I think something happened with him that traumatized him, that he does not want to be rode anymore. He did buck somebody off, so we have been restarting him.
Yeah. And we are too old to be coming up with saddles. Let me just
yeah.
tell you.
He also, if you notice, his eyes are very cloudy. He has some sort of blindness going on, partially right now, but we do think it's going to get worse. So they are very interested in Owen, but they do want to rule out their options. We are going to go look at some yearlings and 2-year-olds, and they are going to decide what they're going to do. You're never going to guess. What? Owen's going home. Owen's going home.
Well, we were looking for a personal friend for me. We have one for my wife, and so we found Owen. We come to find out about him. We were actually looking at Toretto and Artemis, and Owen just happened to be the one that fell in their lap, and we fell in love with. So it was good.
Super simple. Super simple.
Very, very knowledgeable staff. Answered any questions we had, and it's a good place to get a horse.
Or a kitty cat too, for that matter. I mean, hey, this guy needs a home too.
The adopters have finished their decision, and they have decided to take Owen home. We're very excited that he got his forever home, and it breaks my heart, but I'm glad that he's going with somebody that I know that will take care of him and give him a great home.
So we've got most of the horses run out. There's still one horse out here that we're trying to find, or at least I'm trying to find right now. I'm up here by myself. I don't have service up here. There's never any service back here in quarantine. I did bring the sat phone with me though.
That's right. If you go to sat123.com Horse Plus and get one of these life-saving devices, Horse Plus will earn a commission, which will help us save more horses.
So we can call somebody out here to help me out.
This amazing satellite phone, with its small yet powerful form factor, delivers trusted, rugged, reliable communications all in an easy-to-use handset.
All right, you coming up? All right, thanks. Bye. So this thing really does come in handy, especially in rural Tennessee. There's just some places that do not have service. It's made by Iridium, and you can get yours today by going to sat123.com.
If you go to sat123.com Horse Plus and get one of these life-saving devices, Horse Plus will earn a commission, which will help us save more horses.
As you guys can see, I have come back, so this time I'll be here hopefully a little longer than a couple months. So my plan is to stay here, help out till hopefully around mid-December, Christmas time, and then head back home in January. So we'll see what happens in these short span of months.
Today is a Tuesday here at Horse Plus. It's a buyout day. We have 20 horses supposedly coming in from West Virginia this morning, and another 20 coming next week. It's 20 horses, and we've got all our supplies packed up. We've got some teammates out sick, so we're a little short-handed, but thankfully Hailey showed back up this morning to help us. So Hailey and Emily and I are vet team this morning, and I think we've got all of our supplies organized. We're about to load up and drive up to Q. We are up in quarantine. We are moving around a couple horses to make a little bit more space up here. We have all of our supplies unloaded and organized, and we are just waiting for those buyout horses to arrive. We just unloaded this gorgeous gray Percheron stallion from the trailer. He looks to be about 27 years old. I've only gotten a look at his incisors very briefly on one side. He is not a crypt orchid. It's always depressing when we see really old stallions with only one testicle descended because it's a heritable trait. He is a pretty thin body condition score. I BCS'd him at 2 out of 9. And my biggest concern is that he's got evidence of DSLD, which is deep suspensory limb desmitis, in both of his hind legs. And he's got really engorged blood vessels in those hind legs and some effusion in his hocks, which is an indication that we're kind of at an end stage of the disease process. And if you watch him when he's resting, he doesn't hold all of his weight on his hind legs. He kind of balances up on his toes, which is one of those indicators that those tendons are really hurting when they're standing. So I'm gonna get him some pain medication right now. And I pulled some blood for a CBC chemistry and for his Coggins test, and we're gonna pop him in a stall and let him have some hay and some water and decompress a little bit. This gorgeous stallion, he looks like he should be a unicorn. He came in through our buyout program today, and it's a really hard case that happens a lot where we get, the stallions that we get are sweet are usually very, very old. So this guy I aged about 27. His teeth are quite worn. You can see his body condition score is very poor, which at this point, he should have had good summer grass. He has evidence on his body. He has a lot of fecal matter on his elbows and under his belly and on his side. So it looks like he's been laying down a lot. And he has pronounced DSLD in both his hind legs. And then he's got some really swollen hind legs. So if we were going to keep him, we would have to put him on daily pain medication because DSLD is a chronic, progressive, incurable condition that causes pain. He has had pain meds already today, but also it's our policy not to adopt out any intact animal. So in addition to needing daily pain medication, this guy would need to be castrated, which in my opinion at age 27 would be really unfair to him. Anesthesia is tough on older horses, but castration of a older stallion is really, really rough on them. We have gelded older animals for sure. His legs being painful are the deal breaker for me. if he had no musculoskeletal issues and we thought we were able to get him to gain weight, we would give him a chance, but we don't want him to be in discomfort. He's responded really well to the pain medication that we gave him. You can see he's got a great appetite, but I think it's unfair to him to adopt him out, to make him go through surgery, but also to run the risk that whoever adopted him might not give him those pain medications that he surely will need every single day for the rest of his life. So I'm recommending the last act of kindness. All of this up here is soft tissue, and then this is all bony down here. She looks like she fractured both of those carpi. We can take some radiographs, but this is all rock hard right here on both sides. And then all of this outpouching right here feels to be soft tissue that's kind of extending upwards from this joint. And she's got some heat. Really old. Probably pretty close to 30. 30 years old. It feels like her teeth are worn to the gums. I know. Is your mouth painful? I'm sorry. Her heart rate is in the 60s, so I'm going to stop my exam and go get her some pain meds. Like a bone right there. So again, we've got a ton of roughening here and here and here. We've also got a bony proliferation up there. This poor horse. Premolars are super overgrown on the top. This is the maxillary arcade, her upper teeth, and then this is the mandibular arcade, her lower teeth. And you can see this is that soft tissue structure that's holding her teeth in. She's got a fractured tooth right there. This is her right carpus. You can see we've got a lot of bony proliferation happening right here with a possible fracture line on the side right here, and then you can see these should be really nice and smooth. See how smooth the edge of this bone is up there? That's how smooth all of this should be right here on the edges, and you can see how choppy that is and how inconsistent this line is right here. This is partial joint collapse, and you can see how rough and irregular that is and how uncomfortable that must be for her. So overall, she's got severe osteoarthritis with possible fractures in both of her carpi with a significant soft tissue component that is causing pain. She also has a heart murmur as well as elevated lung sounds. She's got a blown out abscess on her right front foot, and she has severe dental pathology. So unfortunately, I don't think that there is anything that our vet team can do to get her comfortable, and that's comfort and dignity are really important things for us with end of life. So I'm recommending the last act of kindness. This little mare looks like she's maybe colicking. She's kicking at her belly. You can see she's kind of violently gone down a couple times. She's got some wounds. I just gave her some intravenous Banamine. It's one of our mainstays for colic, but I'm gonna get a heart rate and try to listen to her gut sounds. Her heart rate was almost 80. I'm gonna go get her some xylazine too, because that helps paired with Banamine, and let's just see how her heart rate responds. So I just gave Flunix and Meglumine, which is Banamine, intravenously, and then I gave some xylazine intravenously. Both of those things are really good analgesics for the gastrointestinal tract. She has almost no gut sounds, so normally you can hear the gurgling of the peristalsis of the small intestine pretty continuously when you listen in horses, and to have no GI sounds in any of the 4 quadrants is really serious. She also has a little bit of what we call a toxic line on her gums, which to me indicates that she's been sick long enough that she has toxins building up in her body. She looks to be about 25 years old, and you can see the stomping and kicking, so that's one of those signs of colic. You could just go, oh, she has flies, but she's actively kicking up at her belly, and she's been rolling. Unfortunately, buyout days tend to be a bit crazy. Thankfully, Tawny's keeping a really close eye on this group and caught this behavior pretty quickly, and hopefully those pain meds will kick in and we'll have a little bit more time to look at this mare, but it's also really hard to see when they've got their tails cut, because often that means some family that loved this horse said goodbye and thought that she was going to be cared for in an appropriate manner, and then she got dumped in the slaughter pipeline by somebody who thought it was a great idea to make a couple $100s off of her and have her pass in an inhumane manner. So I'm really happy that she's here with us. I'm happy that we were able to get her the pain medication that she needed, and we'll see how she responds to it and take things from there. This mare has been actively colicking since she came in. Her heart rate was in the upper 80s initially. I gave her 10 milliliters of Banamine and 1.5 milliliters of xylazine, and you can see she's still continued to act very agitated and kick at her abdomen. She was kind of laying down and rolling repeatedly, and so that's resolved a little bit with pain medication. Her heart rate did come down to 56 after the pain medications, and her gut sounds were completely absent initially. After pain medications, she did drink some water, and she's got a little bit of gut sounds, but they're still decreased in all 4 quadrants. She's got a little bit of a toxic line on her gums, which is not a good sign and indicates that she may have been colicking long term. She also has some wounds and injuries on her hind legs that look old and chronic and maybe not quite so severe, and she is branded, so we were able to determine. We said she was 22, she's actually 21, so we were close. But I'm concerned that she has something significant going on in her GI tract that's been going on for a long time, and we could put her on some IV fluids, we could watch her really closely, but without 24-hour care, there's no good chance that we could keep her comfortable, and we certainly don't want her to go down and suffer. Somebody cut her tail, so it always makes me think that a family was told the prognosis was poor or grave. Not that that's sincere. We've definitely had horses that had cut tails that we were able to save and get into their forever adoptive homes, but for an older horse, I'm always concerned that a family was told something and they keep those tails when they say goodbye, and that somebody unethically took that animal and dumped him in the slaughter pipeline. So I will probably recommend the last act of kindness for this mare.
We are asked to help hundreds of animals every single year. We cannot do that without your support. Being on the front lines of animal rescue, we see things that break our hearts. It's through donations that we're able to say yes to not only horses, but dogs and cats as well. Every animal deserves a second chance. At Plus Humane Society, the plus in our name is for every other animal besides horses that needs help. And we help thousands and thousands of animals, but we can only do that through support from people just like yourself, donating to help us help the helpless. If we don't have support, we cannot save these animals. Please make a donation right now and be the difference for an animal in need.
So I just went ahead and brought all the pizza up for everybody working the buyout today. And we just want to thank all of our great donors out there for helping with the Horse Plus pizza donations and feeding everybody here at Horse Plus, working very hard at buyout, bringing all these wonderful horses in and getting them rehabilitated and ready for adoption.
We are trying to get this mule intook, so he's just kind of really jumpy because he can't really see. So hopefully it goes all well and we can get him into the squeeze chute.
So Hailey's trying to get a halter on this young mule. We don't have an age on him yet. He looks like he had a desmetocele, which is a melting corneal ulcer in his left eye. And he's at least partially blind in that left eye. Other than that, we have no other information because he won't let us touch him.
We are giving all the things to this mule right here. So Hailey's given him his Equispot, and then he's gonna get his chip, 5-way, rabies, and strangles.
I see all baby teeth.
Oh. All baby teeth, so
I would call him, those first ones come in at 2.5, so he is under 2.5. I would call her about 2.
All right, so this little Molly mule is about 2 years old. We're gonna go ahead and give her all the things. She's already been microchipped, so we just have to give her vaccines and her orals.
You're so pretty. You are a baby. Yeah.
This draft filly, this little mare, I guess she's about 2 years old, has very severe abnormal angulation of her lumbar spine right here. Sometimes this is congenital, sometimes babies can get stepped on by moms and have fractures, sometimes there are birthing injuries. This feels quite firm over here. So thankfully we've got radiographs and ultrasound, and one way or another we're gonna get more answers. She doesn't seem to have pain on palpation of the area. And otherwise, she looks to be in pretty good shape. So the last two colts that we got with some birth defects had some severe defects on their legs and their necks and their heads and kind of everywhere. This little mare looks like it's just this spot on her back. Yeah, it's her spine and her ribs. Like this is her spine, goes up and turns and comes back down this way. What I'm trying to determine is whether there was an injury. So we are gonna ultrasound this area. I've already confirmed that it contains vertebrae and ribs. I'm just gonna try to see if there's anything else to be found out about body wall or anything else. I put alcohol down first. It's so weird. So you can see the white, that is the edge of the bones in here, and you can see they're very irregular. Cautiously optimistic in this case because this does look to be congenital, not traumatic. It doesn't seem to be super painful, and I don't think I would ever recommend that this mare be ridden, but she could potentially have a good quality of life as a pasture pet. You would think that people would be lined up around the block to adopt young pasture pets, but they're not. Adopting an older pasture pet is a less commitment. My big concern with adopting her out would be, I would never, ever, ever want this mare to be bred. That would be a major concern if this is congenital. Ooh, yeah, you can see the knobs of bone right there. And so, you know, we screen our adopters pretty closely, but we can't control every variable. And if she were to have a foal, the foal could also have a pretty severe defect. I think this mare is stable for now. She wasn't painful on palpation. We haven't been able to assess her gait or her level of comfort doing anything other than just standing, but I do think that she is comfortable enough. We're gonna process her today. We're gonna microchip her and vaccinate her and get her turned out in a pasture to decompress. I would like to do a lot more ultrasonography to make sure she doesn't have other congenital problems with her major organs or anything like that, but cautiously optimistic that we'll get her through to adoption. So she's gonna get all the things. Okay, so she can go out there. If you can get her out there, good luck. She's got this little filly is about a year old. She's at least under 2. She has elevated lung sounds in both lung fields, and she does have what feel like kind of older fibrosed submandibular lymph nodes. So one of our top differentials is strangles, but to me, she feels like a case that had strangles and is in recovery. I don't love how her lungs sound. I haven't heard her cough. She's got a little bit of nasal discharge that isn't super severe. So we're gonna give her some broad spectrum antibiotics. We try to be very careful with our use of antibiotics, but we use Exceed, which is if you give 1 injection and then booster the injection in 4 days, it's a full course of antibiotics in just 2 shots. So we're gonna give her that, and hopefully her lungs will continue to improve. Her body condition score is poor, and she's got mud or feces just caking both sides of her body. So it looks like she's been laying down a lot. She's got some kicks and some scars, and looks like she's been through a lot in her short life. So hopefully we can get her on the mend. We're about to microchip her and give her some vaccines and some antibiotics, and then she'll get turned out to decompress after that. Yum. It is our last horse. I think we had 21 come today. Okay. And yep, that was his microchip. This cute little buddy just needs to be castrated. Great. He just got some vaccine boosters and a microchip. We're going to turn him out with another colt that also needs to be castrated. And then we're about to get to turn everybody out in a 10-acre, which is like my favorite thing ever on buyout day.
Today has been a great day. Usually we have like 40 to 80 to 70 horses, it feels like, in here recently with the buyout, but we had 20 in today, and because of that outbreak in Texas, we have more coming in next week, but we wanted them to go to a vet, get tested, everything before they come here. So spread out a little bit, but that's okay because it's safe. And I think today went really well.
Yep, we had 21. So of the 21 that came in, we had to give the last act of kindness to 11 of them. We had a lot of very old horses. We had one that was pretty significantly colicking, and then we had a lot of really bad infected puncture wounds and septic joints and fractures. Seems to be what we see a lot of. We got to turn a bunch of them out into the 10-acre, and we've got some somewhat healthy looking youngsters, and it's always exciting to focus on the ones that we can save.
So we got them all moved around different places, and I keep looking over there because they're in the pasture and they're walking around. They look so happy. So now we got a bunch of paperwork. We'll try to get to that debrief as well, so you know kind of like what this first group was. But we're so thankful for your support. I know some folks are like, man, you know, you rescue so many, but you have to put so many down. But for those horses, it's 100% what they needed. And it's hard, but thinking of what would have happened without support from people like you is just devastating. It's hard on us, but it's also the greatest gift we can give them, saving them from the horrors of the slaughterhouse. So there's more coming in, but we get to breathe a little bit before they come, and that's good.
I am giving Thaddeus, one of our little yearling colts, a bath today. Kind of giving him a fresh start into the new training program I have going with him. So, oh, good boy. He is extremely terrified of the water, so we are working on that.
Hi, I'm Harold, and this is my wife,
I'm Sandy Rabowie, Harold and Sandy Rabowie.
And we are here to do a little bit of electrical work for Horse Plus. We're glad to be here, and we were coming from Texas, moving back to Ohio.
Yeah, we're both electricians. I work in industry, Harold works in industry, but he knows a lot more than I do. I'm used to working with robots, Harold's used to working with residential. We are volunteers here because we know Keith and Angela, and when she began to do volunteer work here, I was interested. I asked questions about it and watched some of the videos, which is very informative. And so I started to become a monthly donor. So now I've worked at GM, and I worked at GM in Ohio, and then I got transferred when they closed the plant to GM in Arlington. I worked there 5 years, and I just retired. So my husband came down to pick me up and all my stuff and all my clothes and everything, and this place was on the way back. So we decided to stop and visit Keith and Angela and see the farm. So then we decided to volunteer. So we're really, like Harold said, we're really happy to be here and to be able to donate a little bit of our time helping.
So today we have the dog groomer out here to help kind of clean up some of these dogs that we got from the owner surrender. So we're gonna go get some fans so we can get them all nice and groomed up.
Yeah, I knew Hailey was the perfect person for fan relocation, because
that's the proper way of putting it.
That's the proper way of putting it. Relocating. We're relocating resources. That's all. Oh wow. They'll get dry fast.
Is that too much fan?
I don't know, but I think those are the fans we have. So let's see what happened.
So we need one more fan.
Yeah.
And where's the groomer gonna groom the dog?
The groomer, we are gonna put her in our standing surgery room with the stocks. So hopefully it goes well. We got one. I think there's another one somewhere.
Hi, I'm Jody. I'm the owner of DOG Mobile Canine Spa, and I'm here today to help Horse Plus groom some of their dogs that they got in.
This is Miss Chanel. She is from the group of dogs that we had brought in about a week and a half ago out of Giles County, and she is on our list to get groomed today and get a bath and a haircut. So we've gotten all set up with our grooming station here in the surgery room, and Miss Chanel is first on the list to get a groom.
Smells like, smells like blueberries. She's gonna dry, and then we're gonna work on cleaning out her ears and giving her a haircut after she dries.
So this is Ember. He is a toy Aussie, and he is next on our list to get groomed. So Ember is all done with his bath. He is going to sit here in his cage in front of the fan, and he's going to dry off, and then afterwards he's going to get his final touches.
Our volunteer days will take place the first Wednesday of every month from 9 to noon, weather permitting. We will be doing projects like painting and cleaning and other things that will be pretty messy, so make sure you wear clothes that you don't mind getting dirty. At some point in the day, during our volunteer time, you will also get to spend a little time with our mascots Dino and Cowboy. If you want to come and spend a little time at our facility, we highly encourage you to come out to our volunteer day, and we look forward to seeing you.
Well, you'll notice I'm on the old Kubota, and I'm digging the septic line for the quarantine barn that we're going to be converting into a climate controlled quarantine intake for the buyout and auction horses. And the Kubota broke down a while ago, and we had it towed up to the dealership, and they literally wanted like $13,600 or $700 to fix it. And we said that's not doable. That's more than half the value of the tractor. It's just not worth it at that point. So they put it back together, quote, good enough to get it on a flatbed truck to get it towed to the shelter. So I was pushing some dirt and the front tire fell off, literally just fell off. And for part of community outreach, Tawny and I went to a ribbon cutting ceremony for a local business that's been going for a while. And it's MV Truck and Trailer Repair. And they're literally just down the road from Horse Plus, about, maybe 5-6 miles. And so I called them up. I'm like, do you guys think you could take a look at this tractor and just see what's it gonna take to get it functional? Because we just need the backhoe. We don't care if the 4-wheel drive works. We're not using it for our primary feeder. We need the backhoe to work because our new tractor doesn't have a backhoe. They came up, they towed it down. Less than 2 hours of work later, the total bill is less than $400 and the tractor's working. They said the dealership cut the bolts, didn't bother removing the bolts they cut. They just cut the bolts to get into the front end. When they put the spindles back in from the front tires, they didn't even put the C-clips on the backside. So yeah, you could drive it on a flatbed truck, but as soon as you try to turn the wheel or really do anything, that wheel's gonna work its way and fall off. I kind of feel like the dealership maybe tried to sabotage a little bit because we didn't want to do the almost $14,000 repair bill. But thankfully, we have some good hometown mechanics. They got the orange tractor going. It's not perfect. It's gonna break down any day. Like it's got thousands of hours on this tractor, feeding the horses, taking care of the property, brush hogging. It's a well-worn tractor. It's certainly not something that I would want to depend on every day, day in and day out to feed the horses, but it's so important and so nice to have a backup tractor and a backhoe. Like, I was digging ditches by hand trying to get things done, and that's rough. Much better to sit up here, work some controls, and get some digging done.
So today we have a bunch of small animal spays and neuters on our list. We've got 2 neuters and then the rest are spays. I'm not quite sure how many we have, but we'll get to whoever we get to and then they'll be on their way to getting adopted. Okay, this morning we have Sassy and he is getting prepped for his neuter right now and there is someone interested in him. So the quicker we get him neutered, the quicker he can go to his new home. Our next patient is Allie. She has been here a while, and she is finally big enough to be spayed. All of her siblings have been spayed and adopted out, and poor Allie could not be because she was so small. So today's her day, and then she gets to go outside with all the rest of our kitty cats. So this is Chanel. She got groomed yesterday and today she's going to get spayed, and we're also going to take some x-rays of her hips just to make sure that everything is okay back there. She tends to like bounce back there when she's standing like she's off balance. So we're just going to double check and make sure that everything's okay before she goes to her new home.
All right, so we are here with Chanel. She's waking up post her spay. Dr. Lydia and Emily took some pre-anesthetic radiographs on her because we think she's an older girl, and she also seems to have some lameness concerns in her hind end. So when we were looking at her radiographs, there were a little bit more things that were a little concerning. So we took some additional radiographs. We're gonna do some blood work on her. We'll have to give you the results of those later. But we did Chanel's spay, we did some kitty cat spays and neuters, and then we're about to go and hop on a Zoom call about maybe some potential more equipment that we could use for rehab stuff for horses. So overall, everyone's waking up good and we're pretty excited about that. But yeah, we're gonna further evaluate Miss Chanel and her prognosis.
So today I am working on riding evaluations and just trying to see what horses we have that came down from quarantine from our recent buyout. Right now I'm working with Lily. I recently got done with Cherokee, our new paint owner surrender, and then I finished working with Spartacus, one of our other buyout horses we got in. So both did pretty good. So now we're moving on to Lily and see how she does under a saddle. So I just got done riding Lily. So we are gonna have the vets kind of take a quicker look or closer look at her back legs. They seem kind of off, but other than that, she is really, really broke. I would consider her a kid horse. She really has no buck. She has no rear. She is a little headstrong, but I mean, what horse isn't? But yeah, so Lily's actually pretty good. I'll rank her about a 1. So she's a really good horse. We'll just hopefully everything's good with her back legs.
A pallet of shavings.
Big pile, huh?
And there's 59 to a pallet.
All done.
We're all done. That was 59 bags of shavings, done quickly with some help. Thank you all.